Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 8, Book 73, Number 47. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's Apostle said, "Anybody who believes in Allah and the last day should not harm his neighbor, and anybody who believes in Allah and the last day should entertain his guest generously, and anybody who believes in Allah and the last day should talk what is good or keep quiet, i.e. abstain from all kinds of evil and dirty talk." Volume 8, Book 73, Number 48. Narrated by Abu Shuraih al-Adawi. My ears heard and my eyes saw the Prophet when he spoke, "Anybody who believes in Allah and the last day, should serve his neighbor generously, and anybody who believes in Allah and the last day should serve his guest generously by giving him his reward." It was asked, "What is his reward, O Allah's Apostle?" He said, "To be entertained generously, for a day and a night with high quality of food, and the guest has the right to be entertained for 3 days, with ordinary food. And if he stays longer, what he will be provided with will be regarded as sadaqah, a charitable gift. And anybody who believes in Allah and the last day should talk what is good or keep quiet, i.e. abstain from all kinds of dirty and evil talks." Volume 8, Book 73, Number 49. Narrated by Aisha. I said, "O Allah's Apostle, I have 2 neighbors. To whom shall I send my gifts?" He said, "To the one whose gate is nearer to you." Volume 8, Book 73, Number 50. Narrated by Jabir bin Abdullah. The Prophet said, "Enjoining all that is good is a sadaqah." Volume 8, Book 73, Number 51. Narrated by Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. The Prophet said, "On every Muslim there is enjoined a compulsory sadaqah, alms." They, the people, said, "If one has nothing," he said, "he should work with his hands so that he may benefit himself and give in charity." They said, "If he cannot work or does not work," he said, "then he should help the oppressed unhappy person, by word or action or both." They said, "If he does not do it," he said, "then he should enjoin what is good, or said what is reasonable." They said, "If he does not do that," he said, "then he should refrain from doing evil, for that will be considered for him as a sadaqah, charity." Volume 8, Book 73, Number 52. Narrated by Adi bin Hatim. The Prophet mentioned the hell, fire, and sought refuge with Allah from it, and turned his face to the other side. He mentioned the hell, fire again and took refuge with Allah from it and turned his face to the other side. Shubha, the sub-narrator, said, "I have no doubt that the Prophet repeated it twice." The Prophet then said, "O people, save yourselves from the hell, fire, even if with 1/2 of a date fruit, given in charity. And if this is not available, then save yourselves by saying a good, pleasant, friendly word." Volume 8, Book 73, Number 53. Narrated by Aisha. The wife of the Prophet, a group of Jews entered upon the Prophet and said, "Assalamu alaikum," i.e., "Death be upon you." I understood it and said, "Wa alaikum as-samu wal-la'in," "Death and the curse of Allah be upon you." Allah's apostle said, "Be calm, O Aisha. Allah loves that on should be kind and lenient in all matters." I said, "O Allah's apostle, haven't you heard what they, the Jews, have said?" Allah's apostle said, "I have already said to them, and upon you." Volume 8, Book 73, number 54. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. A Bedouin urinated in the mosque and the people ran to beat him. Allah's apostle said, "Do not interrupt his urination, i.e. let him finish." Then the Prophet asked for a tumbler of water and poured the water over the place of urine. Volume 8, Book 73, number 55. Narrated by Abu Musa. The Prophet said, "A believer to another believer is like a building whose different parts enforce each other." The Prophet then clasped his hands with the fingers interlaced. At that time, the Prophet was sitting and a man came and begged or asked for something. The Prophet faced us and said, "Help and recommend him and you will receive the reward for it, and Allah will bring about what he will through his Prophet's tongue." Volume 8, Book 73, number 56. Narrated by Masruq. Abdullah bin Amr mentioned Allah's apostle saying that he was neither a fahish nor a mutafahish. Abdullah bin Amr added, Allah's apostle said, "The best among you are those who have the best manners and character." Volume 8, Book 73, number 57. Narrated by Abdullah bin Mulaika. Aisha said that the Jews came to the Prophet and said, "As-samu alaykum, death be on you." Aisha said to them, "Death be on you, and may Allah curse you and shower his wrath upon you." The Prophet said, "Be calm, O Aisha. You should be kind and lenient, and beware of harshness and fuhsh, i.e. bad words." She said to the Prophet, "Haven't you heard what they, Jews, have said?" He said, "Haven't you heard what I have said to them? I said the same to them, and my invocation against them will be accepted, while theirs against me will be rejected, by Allah." Volume 8, Book 73, number 58. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. The Prophet was not one who would abuse others, or say obscene words, or curse others, and if he wanted to admonish any one of us, he used to say, "What is wrong with him? His forehead be dusted." Volume 8, Book 73, number 59. Narrated by Aisha. A man asked permission to enter upon the Prophet. When the Prophet saw him, he said, "What an evil brother of his tribe! And what an evil son of his tribe!" When that man sat down, the Prophet behaved with him in a nice and polite manner and was completely at ease with him. When that person had left, Aisha said to the Prophet, "O Allah's apostle, when you saw that man, you said sir and sir about him, then you showed him a kind and polite behavior, and you enjoyed his company." Allah's apostle said, "O Aisha, have you ever seen me speaking a bad and dirty language? Remember that the worst people in Allah's sight on the day of resurrection will be those whom the people leave, undisturbed, to be away from their evil deeds." Volume 8, Book 73, number 59. Narrated by Anas. The Prophet was the best among the people, both in shape and character, and was the most generous of them, and was the bravest of them. Once, during the night, the people of Medina got afraid of a sound. So the people went towards that sound, but the Prophet, having gone to that sound before them, met them while he was saying, "Don't be afraid, don't be afraid." At that time, he was riding a horse belonging to Abu Talha, and it was naked without a saddle, and he was carrying a sword slung at his neck. The Prophet said, "I found it, the horse, like a sea, or, it is the sea indeed." Volume 8, Book 73, Number 60. Narrated by Jabir. Never was the Prophet asked for a thing to be given for which his answer was, no.